Hey artists, today we're making these paper bag puppets. So you're going to follow along with me and I'll show you all the steps to creating your own. Okay, to get started you're going to need a pair of scissors, a thing of glue, and your paper bag. You want to make sure that your paper bag has the mouth side for our puppet, this folded side. You do not want to decorate the back because you will have nowhere to put your hand in and make him talk. Okay, so we're keeping this side up. We are going to cut out a piece of paper that can cover the front of our owl. Now, there's always somebody who goes and cuts right out of the middle of this big piece of paper, and then the paper's ruined for everybody. Let's not cut out of the middle, but think about how much paper we're gonna need to cover the front of our owl. And I'm just going to make one little mark here that shows me that's about how wide my paper needs to be to fit on my owl over here. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut straight across. Now, I'm going to have it come down to here because in here is where I'm going to put the inside of his mouth. So again, I'm going to look here and say, okay, I need it to be about this long, and I can make a little mark and go ahead and cut that piece of paper to make sure it fits for my owl. Perfect. So now, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put some glue around the edge. I don't want to put the glue right up to the edge of the paper. If I put the glue right here on the edge, when I push it down, the glue's going to squirt out the side and make a big mess. This way, it's going to just sit right on here. Perfect. That looks great. What about my leftover piece? That fits perfectly too. So I'm going to put the glue not quite to the edge. I don't want it to spill out and get messy. Okay. Now I'm going to take some different color paper, and this is where I'm going to start constructing my creature. You might be doing a person, you might be doing an animal. I decided to do an owl. So I'm going to round the corners here. And I'm going to make that his belly feathers. So I'm going to take this around and put those belly feathers here. Now maybe he's gonna have some wings. If you are going to put on arms or feet or wings, sometimes what you want to do is take your paper and fold it in half. That way, if I cut out one wing for this side, I will end up with two because I folded it in half. And then the two will match. So I could just try cutting out two different ones, but if I fold it, and now I'm going to make a wing shape. So I'm going to have it come like this. I'm just kind of making some little feather lines here. Hey, that looks pretty good for a wing. Now they're connected, so I need to give it a little chop. Okay, now I could glue a wing here and a wing here. So I'm gonna take my glue. Now this is where it gets kind of difficult. If I put glue all over the back, there's just gonna be glue all over the table. So where does it actually stick down? It looks like right here is where I'm sticking. So I wanna make sure I put the glue there and then slide the paper where the glue is at. Perfect. If a little comes out, you can even take that to take the extra. And we know that the glue goes here. Let's slide in that extra wing. Perfect. Wow, this guy's already looking amazing. So what else will my owl need? I could add some little feather texture here. So maybe just some extra triangles with my scrap. And with my glue, I could just put some of those little feathers on here. So this is where you get to be creative. What can you add to your puppet by cutting out construction paper and adding different designs to kind of change the way it looks? I like that. Now he's got a little feathery texture here. Now I'm thinking about the color of his beak. I'm thinking I might do, let's see, I might do 2 layers. I might put this beak here first, and then I might take another scrap, because I can go over to the scrap box and perhaps get some yellow. And I could add a second layer. So a little bit of the brown shows through, and then this is on top, which kind of makes it look a little more 3D. Perfect. Owls have big eyes, so I might take my paper, fold it in half, so I get 2 eyes. And then I'm going to carefully cut out a nice big circle for those big owl eyes. And I could put these here. Oh, but you know what else? I might, this is where we just get to really be creative. I might add just the little kind of mask part where their feathers are up at the top. I might add a little extra feather here. So putting that down first, then the big eye here, and the big eye here. Now to make it look even more realistic, I'm gonna take a piece of black. And again, I'm not cutting the circle right out of the middle and wasting this whole paper. I cut off a little piece I need and put this back with the scraps so other people who are making their puppets can use that piece of paper also. Okay, now we've got to measure. That's a little big. So I'm gonna cut it down a little smaller. That looks like some big owl eyes. And I'm gonna take my glue, get those in the center. All right, look at how this owl puppet is really starting to take shape. Now we're gonna keep adding to change the way he looks. I'm gonna grab some colors so I can make the inside of his mouth. All right, from the scrap box, I found some pieces of pink and red so I can make the inside of my owl's mouth. So I'm going to put a little glue around the edge, not too close to the edge, opening up that mouth and sliding that pink paper in and doing the same with the top of the mouth, like this. And I want to make sure that it can still open and close. I'm going to add a little scrap I found of red, and I cut it into a little tongue shape. And now, when my owl opens his mouth, he says, ah, and it looks like he's talking. This is awesome. Okay, now, some people might come up to me and say, I'm done. But I would say, let's add some more details and make these really extra cool. We could add a little white dot to the eye to give it more expression. I could add those little feathers that kind of stick up like ears right here at the top. already is starting to look pretty cute and cool. And looking at yours, what could you add to yours? Maybe they need feet. My owl could have some little claws down here maybe. So I cut these out of a piece of paper together. That way when I take them apart, they look the same. Putting my little claws on here. And I could just keep going. What could I do to add texture to the wings? Or maybe I could get black and add on the claws. There's so many little details that we can keep adding by cutting our paper. We even have some cool textured paper in our scrap box. So maybe I could make some extra feather shapes with this. Let's see. I can fold it. And make some little feathery shapes. And I really like the texture on this paper. And there's just so much we can do with our puppets. Okay, what if I added a nice little, let's see, how would I put this on here? Just a little extra layer of feathers. That looks kind of cool. So I would put the glue on the back and just set that where I like it. Looking great. I think he's looking amazing. All right, I added a little extra feather on his head and those little claws at the bottom. And now I have the coolest paper bag puppet ever. I can't wait to see the one that you create.